o'clock. You ready? Okay, calling to order the meeting of the Heritage Commission, let's see, February 20th. So, let's just roll forward.
Since everybody is present, I was going to ask, if everybody is present, do you want to go individual names, or can we say all present?
I think we could, whatever's legal.
Yeah, all present.
Okay.
Okay.
Either one is fine, but I wasn't sure what you guys would want.
Okay, no, that's great.
Okay, everybody is present.
Okay. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to skip the minute approval is number one. Let's see, on old business, I have things on here that I just wanted to make sure we touched on each month, even though there's probably no progress. Paddleboard, or the paddleboard event, I don't think we've got anything on that yet. Nope.
Excuse me, are
I
the
still-
microphones on?
Mine is, can you hear me?
Barely.
Yep, yours isn't on.
So that is also something we'll be addressing on the 28th workshop if y'all would like to attend, is the poor quality of the microphones and stuff in here. So if anybody's interested on the 28th, we will be talking about room design as well.
Oh,
28th.
So the 28th
The
is...
28th is a special agenda meeting, and they're discussing this room in general,
as well as...
as well as a community watch program.
What time is that?
I believe that starts at 9 a.m., but I can double check.
Okay.
I want to say
Thank you.
it's 9 to 12, but it could be 8 to 12. But we don't open until 8:30, so I think I'll have to check that.
Okay.
What's the one that starts, let's see, 28, there's one that starts at 8 o'clock.
That's it, but our building doesn't open until 8:30, so let me discuss that with council and see how they want to address that.
Oh, that makes a big difference in the
It
morning.
does,
Okay.
it does, so I'll speak with the mayor, because I believe she's the one that,
That's the one that we're going to be going over the smart city and the park program.
I think they're talking more, I believe they're not going to discuss smart city anymore, I believe they're just going to talk about the parks program.
Okay. But they're still going ahead with the plan, right?
Not sure at all.
That girl was already paid.
Not sure at all. Unfortunately, I came in time and that doesn't fall under
it's-
my silo of
Okay,
information.
well, we'll
Is that
just,
going to be posted on the city Facebook page?
It should be, but that's not until, well, I'll post it today. I just finalized it yesterday, the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So before y'all leave, I can get you a copy of that, but it will go live. I meant to put it live today. However, I got a phone call and a long phone call, so that kind of put a damper on getting that out to the public.
So this will
for
be
this
a
meeting.
special council meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
a special council meeting or a workshop?
It's a workshop.
Okay, okay. And we're not sure what time it starts?
No,
Not yet,
it does
okay.
say 8 to 12 on the website, but the building does not open until 8:30. But if they want me to open up at 8, I will.
I'm voting for 9.
I will get a firm line on that, and then I will also advertise it out to Facebook for the community too, so they're aware if it's not at 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, good catch, ladies. What would I do without you?
Okay.
Chrissy, is there someone that's going to be the designated lead on the paddleboard event?
Does anybody want to take it? I'm doing Boo on the Boulevard with the stuff here. It's right at the same time, so I've kind of got my plate full for that time. I do the Heritage Club Halloween party and Boo on the Boulevard.
Okay.
So I need somebody else to take the paddleboard.
I've got the Mother's Day event, tour of homes, all that, so I really can't take on anymore.
Not
right
in
now.
October? It's in October.
Oh,
No,
Karen,
I've got a
I
lot.
saw a hand
Okay.
at the end.
Yes, I'll do it.
You want to do it?
Great.
Oh, yay. Paddleboard event. Karen.
And it doesn't have to be the same day as Boo on the Boulevard. It could be, a different day to increase participation.
That would be best.
And they're already doing the one in Melrose, so there's a great blueprint. And it's
Yes.
really successful. Okay.
Do you know who does that?
No. Do they?
I don't. Do you know who does it? It's called the Witches Paddle. It's a fundraiser.
Okay.
And,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But I think there's a lot of information. It sells out like this, like because people buy tickets.
Well, we can't do a fundraiser
No, we don't have to, but you can use the model of how it runs, the
Right.
processes,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm sure down at Chapini's, they'll know exactly who does it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Karen. Let's see, historic oak designation.
Yes, I have a little update on that. I read over the Clay County Preservation Board website and all the information that was provided regarding how to have a historic tree, a tree designated as historic. And one of the main criteria was that you need an evaluation by a certified arborist or an urban forester as part of the application. So that's kind of the groundwork of what we need. So there's actually, I went online to look at the certified arborist in Florida, and we actually have one in the Melrose Keystone Heights area. So reached out to him, and he said he would be willing to do it if we wanted him to do, and the cost would be $100.
Oh, that's great.
That's a
So
good
he
price.
doesn't, yeah, he doesn't climb to the top.
What's his name?
His name is Robert Ramos. He
Right.
doesn't
Okay.
climb or anything like that. It's strictly, you know, like a visual and inspection from the bottom and him looking up. And, you know, of course, he'll be able to get up and close with the tree and, you know, the visual associated with it. So if we would like to proceed with that, we would need to vote on spending the funds for that.
Do we want to make a motion?
Sure. Since, like, I'm kind of in charge of it, if someone else would like to
Okay,
make the
I'll make a
motion.
motion that we hire Robert Ramos, an arborist, so that we can get the information necessary to complete the application for the historic oak designation.
Okay, and the only caveat I would add to that would be that if for some reason it doesn't work out with him, that we hire another arborist, you know,
Sure.
okay.
And that for a fee of $100, we could move forward.
I see.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
May I say something?
Yeah,
After the last meeting, I had made an attempt to try to find Bob, who was responsible for the moon tree, and I came by your home, and...
I wasn't there.
Right, and I gave John the information, and he wrote it down.
Right.
I rode around for about 45 minutes to an hour trying to find Bob, and his neighbor said he did not live there anymore, so I ran out of options trying to find Bob.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, sir, what was your name for the record?
My name is Gregory Gay.
Thank you, sir.
And just in general, thank you to our associate members for coming. So, Mr. Gay, and I know Janice, and I'm not sure if I've met you before.
Just sitting in at Bed Lightford.
Okay, nice to meet you. Thank you for attending.
Okay, the plaque presentation for Fort 11 in City of Keystone Heights, and that would be the Lawrence Development Company.
I have some information on that.
Oh, yay.
The Clay County Preservation Board has it back on their agenda. So, what I would like to see happen, since we are the best architects for talking about Keystone Heights, I mean, yes, it's going to be handled at the Clay County level, and it will have to go through many eyes, and they go through many revisions. But what I would suggest is that we form a subcommittee so that we can iron out the framework of what that two-sided plaque is going to look like for Keystone Heights. We can fast-track this so that we can get it onto completed for our centennial. The process does take like 10 months, so we would need to move along quickly in order to have the plaque, you know, designated during the year 2025. So, does anyone besides myself want to be on that subcommittee?
I'll do it with you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay. And the same with Fort 11, but Fort 11 most likely will be pushed down. Right now, Clay County has 7 different plaques that we have in queue. I'm trying to get the City of the Keystone Heights plaque pushed up. So
that's
we
the
can
one
do
that
that.
we're going to do, Lawrence Development Company on one side, Keystone on the
Right.
other. Okay. Okay.
So we can set up a time to meet
Okay,
for that.
we'll do a tea.
We can do a tea. No, I think we have to actually have subcommittee
here?
meetings here because they have to be public.
You are
Um, So when would this room be available for us to meet, or even at the pavilion, so that we could
If you
have,
if you as a council would like to get together and send me 3 or 4 dates that work for you guys.
it won't be the whole council, it'll just be,
For the subcommittee.
Right.
If you send me those dates, I can verify what's available on those dates. So
okay, and it would be for like an hour.
that's not a problem. We will
Okay.
find a space.
Okay,
Okay, your schedule's pretty busy this time of year, just let me know. As long
Okay.
as it's not first thing in the morning,
no,
I'm good.
I'm good with
Usually-
not first thing in the morning.
And I will be on the lookout for your email with those
Okay.
dates so I can answer you all
Okay.
promptly.
Okay. Let's see. Next thing is the order of the centennial flags. Is that discussion finished?
I don't recall that
It
discussion.
was, we discussed it last meeting.
Okay.
And we had discussed it with Stephanie because the city has to, it would be done through the city.
Okay,
You had ideas on what somebody else did, the centennial flags, a design for the centennial flags, and when they would have to go up.
okay. So we can get together, I guess, with Stephanie to see what you have. Usually, like for Centennial or something like that, I mean, aside from our city logo and stuff, if I recall, back when we ordered them for the flags and all kinds of things out in the public view, there was like a brochure, a book that we could go to, like a catalog, and you could pick from the catalog. And so they would have like a category called Centennial or Bicentennial or something like that, and I'm sure they have something.
I'll have to consult Van Zant. Unfortunately, that's a city event, and that does not fall under my.
Okay,
But I can get that information as to where he needs to look, because I'm not even sure if currently he knows where that information is.
Does he have a second, an undersecretary or something that we can set up for
I
a
think
meeting?
the idea is for Bo to be that, but nothing.
Okay, because it sounds like we're going to have a million things to discuss with Mr. Van Zandt.
Yes.
We'll have to get together. then.
Unfortunately, we don't have a solid plan for the office, but I think that's his future plans for Mr. Bo in
Okay.
front.
okay.
So we need to, I'm going to start a Van Zandt list.
City manager list. I think they have flags like that. They fly at 4th of July. They're not 4th of July
I found
flags,
these
but they're
big
City of
black
Keystone
ones with the
Heights.
seals in it. Is that what you're?
I think she's talking about the ones on the poles.
Okay.
Like on the new poles that, the historic poles.
Okay.
So I think, so there's a vendor, I think, that they've ordered from previously.
And there's a full catalog. I mean, it's like this, you know, and
I
I'm
will-
sure they have it online now too.
I
But
will get on that today and see if I can't figure out who that vendor is and get that information to y'all. Is that something that you guys need the information for, or that Van Zant needs the information for? so
We
can
both
order
need
on
it.
your- Okay.
So we would want to look at it and approve it, and then go to Mr. Van Zant and get his approval. And I'm not sure at that point if we have to go to the council to further approve
Okay.
it. So we'll just figure it out as we go along, but
Not
we
a
certainly
problem.
need to get the first step.
I will isolate that vendor. That's the least
Okay.
I can do.
Okay.
And I think the logo had for that Friends of Keystone Heights, who is going to be in partnership with the Heritage Commission as far as organizing the processes and events for the centennial. I think that logo has been finalized. I
Yes.
think the president, Ginger Lee, has finalized that. So
Right.
perhaps that might be the logo that could go on the centennial flags.
Right. Okay, I'm meeting with her tomorrow,
Okay.
so we'll have a bunch of things going on
All right.
with that. Okay.
Let's see, Mother's Day tour of homes.
Okay, a Mother's Day tour of homes. In the past, I've kind of headed that up. I am thinking that we should not have that event this year
Because we're doing the other one?
because we're doing the other tour of homes. And here's what I have printed up that I think we should, since it's all in the same boat, if you all want to look at this. I have met with, I'm going to pass these down. I have met with the Garden Club of the Lakes, and they have agreed that they would take on this event for the interior tour of homes and help us with that. And the reason for that is that we cannot sell tickets or fundraise. However, the Garden Club can. And so the suggestion to the Garden Club was to decide when they raise the funds, let's say for instance we sell, and this is just hypothetical, we sell 150 tickets. That would, at $10 a ticket, that would be $1,500. The Garden Club would then in turn, where they would like to use those proceeds, would be, their suggestion is to have Keystone Heights High School scholarships. Say 3 $500 scholarships, or, however they decide to work that out. The design of the tickets, I have yet to sit down and talk to them directly about it, but indirectly we have said that the tickets need to be numbered. It would be a Garden Club event, but it would be held under, Garden Club of the Lakes. On the ticket, it would say, presents the Keystone Heights Heritage Commission Centennial Tour of Homes, and that would tie in with the Friends group of everything being about the Centennial. And then we would need to come up with a date, a time, a location to start, which most likely will be at the pavilion. And then a last entry into the homes would be, I'm suggesting at 3:15, because if this is a December event, it will start to get dark at 5. We want everyone completely finished and then back to their cars over at the beach parking lot before it gets dark. And so in order for that to happen, given we might have, say, 5 or 6 different homes, we need to come up with what properties we're going to have and come up with an actual date. I told them that it would most likely be the 3rd Saturday in December.
We decided
Yeah,
on the date at
we-
the last meeting.
I know we did, but then I wasn't sure.
Yeah, December 21st.
December
It's a Saturday.
Okay, that's what,
You went with the 3rd, yep.
okay, so Saturday,
The 3rd.
December 21st, okay. And then some of the things that we had talked about would be that restrooms would be at the pavilion. That would be noted on the ticket. No kids under 10, no children under 10. So that eliminates people bringing strollers and all of this. You don't want any of that through the homes. And then it would be marked on the ticket that where the proceeds would be going to, so that everyone who purchased a ticket knows that the funds are going to be used here locally and for the kids of Keystone. And then just to note that it would be a walking tour, transportation will not be provided. So that would kind of be an idea of the front of the ticket. And then in the back of the ticket would be, and this is an example, but this would be kind of the route, and it would have the homes numbered, and then it would have a list of the homes. And so it would be up to the Garden Club to design the tickets, print the tickets, pay for the tickets, and sell the tickets. So we would not be doing any of that piece. Delegating.
Yay.
Okay. So we also, though, need to be aware of how many tickets are being sold. And I'm going to suggest that the Garden Club run ads in Clay Today, Keystone Herald, and the Keystone Monitor. And also have tickets maybe at the local stores. So, for example, like Ace Hardware buys 10 tickets in a block, and then they could sell tickets at their registers. So that's something that I've talked to the Garden Club about, and they're really on board with this. So they could begin selling the tickets in October and running all the ads. And then what I would also suggest is that all the participants from the Garden Club that are going to be actually working as kind of docents, if you will, in each of the houses, that the day before we meet with them, assign them the house that they're going to be in, and do all that the day prior. Otherwise, the people who sit in the homes don't actually get to tour the homes, which is a real shame. You know, so they should, you know, they're doing all this work. They should be able to get to all the homes and see all the homes, but they won't if they just sit in one home, right? And that, so that can be, you know, worked out. The other thing was that there was a milestone meeting, and this kind of covers the Friends group as well. But there was a Clay County Tourism milestone meeting that Stephanie and I attended. And the meeting was to coordinate all of the county's historic milestones, and in this case, it would be the centennial. What was interesting is that Keystone Heights is 100 years old, but so is Penny Farms. Green Cove Springs is 150 years old, and Orange Park is 150 years old, all in 2025. I think Orange Park is in 2026 or 27. But what they suggested is that when we get around to doing something like this, because we want to have more information than just the dot on the map with regards to the homes. If we could put something not as complicated as this, but something that would give us a little more information, we need to write it, start it with just the 6 homes or 5 homes that we're going to do now, and get the detail as much as we can and put together something like this. They're saying that they're using currently QR codes on all those brochures for tour of homes, and that they have people. There's a Jason Clark, and we got to talk to, this is another Van Zant thing. There's Kerrigan Designs. They do all government websites. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. They do all the government websites. So we could, in a sense, have on the back of these tickets the QR code that would give everybody the information that would be
To
in
the
these.
Heritage Commission. Right.
And it would tie back to our website at the city and everything about the Heritage Commission. When we meet, all of our minutes, time, I mean, it's really, it was a real advantage to go to this meeting and see what they're doing. They had people from each of the different cities there, and the city of Green Cove Springs, of course, is the county seat for Clay County. And so they're just really up on the nuance of every little thing that's happening with tourism and how it all ties together. So they're saying, we don't have to invent this. It's already there. And so it's really just getting a hold of Jason Clark. All we have to do is ask him,
Okay, Jason.
and he
who's
will
with?
do it for us.
Jason Clark with who? Who's he
He's with Clay County
Okay.
Tourism.
Oh,
So-
okay. I have the women's card for that. She's supposed to be doing the, when we get her the information, the tour of homes, the digital tour of homes on their.
Right, and this will all kind of feed into
Right.
that. But for right now, I'm thinking with the short time we have, in just getting the 6 homes.
Right.
It would be great if we had that information compiled. And then long-term, this company called Kerrigan, that's Keregen, they design all the websites, so we don't have to go out and find someone to do this kind of work. And so again, that's a Mr. Van Zant thing, so that we can just use that company. They already know everything about government. So it's not, oh, what does a secretary do for a city manager? How does that run with the council? They understand the application. So that'll be very helpful. So I am thinking that what we should do with our May tour of homes, since we do have a list of all of the volunteers and all of the people that participated in the past, we send them out an email from the city and the Heritage Commission saying that we are having a tour of homes that is going to allow them to go inside the homes. And then from there, they can purchase a ticket. We'll tell them how to do that, how to get a hold of the garden club and so forth. So I think that would be in lieu of having the May event. But the last thing is that we do need to pick the 6 homes so that we can get a jump start on starting to write the homes. So I am up for ideas.
Well, this is
So it's-
kind of preliminary.
We did, but we didn't, I don't think we finalized it.
Right, we need to
And-
double check with, I think Carrie volunteered at the end.
Okay,
And
your
and my
house.
house.
Okay, so that's 2. My house is 3. Nina's house, although I haven't talked to her about it,
Okay,
but I'm
you
sure
have to
it'll.
get a final,
Yeah, that would be
4.
4.
Lee's home had just.
And Lee's,
Part of the Lakes Home of the Month again this year. this
yes,
month.
yes. And they put an ad in the paper with Yard of the Month from the Garden Club,
Right,
and she has gotten the award. So
she's got a beautiful yard.
it's absolutely stunning. It's stunning. So
Not
she
sure
might
which one
be
that
a
one
good,
is.
it's the kind of Spanish house. It's right on Lakeview, like right down here. And so,
Just before the 300 block of Cypress.
Huh.
so if we were to come up with an idea of a route, it might be from the pavilion to go to Lee's house first, and then to yours, because it's right almost at the corner of yours, Palmetto and Lakeview. So it, excuse me? No, it's not Rosemary's
No,
house.
she's saying as an additional house.
Oh,
We'll have to approach Rosemary.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's doing these days. I haven't seen her.
yeah,
in a
she's,
while. Have you seen her? Okay.
is she up? Okay. Because that would be good because of the location too. And then they could go to your house and then cross the street, or come up and go to Nina's and then to mine would be last.
Now Rosemary's had hers in the
Or
past, so she knows
come
what she's
down
getting into.
Selvin Way, come down Selvin, go to my house and end up with Nina's last. That's probably a better route, just because of crossing the street.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
that 6 then?
It's 6, but we still
We
have
need
to
to-
ask
We need,
the homeowners.
right, Nina,
Let us, I guess, give her the date.
Rosemary, and Lee. Have we-
Lee, it's Kaufman, is it Caulfield, Cofield, Coefield. Cofield Wang.
Okay.
What is Rosemary's last name?
Hysup. He's a, yeah, I think she's done it twice before for 2 of
Yeah.
our tours of homes in the past.
Yeah, she has. I just haven't seen her in a long time. I didn't know if she was well.
I know she gets out and walks at like 8 o'clock every morning with her dogs, but I know she fell and she wasn't doing it for a little while, so I just haven't personally spoken to her in a little bit.
Okay.
But
4 would be,
Helen's gonna talk to her.
okay, good. Christine, and then 5 would be Bergen. And then 6.
Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
Hi. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you. I was just on a roll with this.
I wish I would have been able to go do the centennial, but I was sick.
I appreciate your consideration, and you would have attended if you could have, I'm sure.
And I think I stood in the back, very back, I had to do the election worker training.
Huh.
It was not a good day.
So the last thing on the last page of this little handout, would be that this part would be for the Heritage Commission. We have the date, we need to come up with the times, the number of homes, the selection of homes. And we're gonna need our own personal comp tickets. And here's why that's important. Let's say, for instance, Helen had a friend come into town and the tickets are sold, but now you want them to go on the tour, but we don't know about it. Like, we wouldn't know that person. So if you were just sending them on their own, we would have no idea. And so we have to come up with some way that if it was necessary, that we had a kind of a slip that says, yes, this person.
You guys need your Willy Wonka
Sin.
golden tickets.
Exactly, that's our golden tickets. Then we'll figure out the order of the property, which I think we kind of just did. And then we'll need all to have the contact person for the garden club. And then the number of associates that will be actually working with the garden club and what homes. And then I cannot believe I still have this, but I do have the original signs that we used for do not enter areas. So for each of the homes that we've selected, we'll need to talk with the homeowners if they have stairs, how many staircases, if they have a bathroom, say on the main floor that they don't want anyone to go into, if there's, such as Nina's property, there's the cute little outhouse, there's her she shed, there's gazebos at my house that, I want open. So there'll be open areas and then areas that will be restricted. And so we need to identify those and have signs for each of it. And then at the pavilion, we need to have some kind of sign, and it could be a chalkboard that says this, but, no children under 10, no smoking on the properties of the homes. Not that anybody would disrespect, but it would be better to have it announced. And then no pets on the property so that people aren't taking their little dogs with them, People do crazy things.
Now, I apologize for interrupting, but you had mentioned strollers and such like that. Would you like that to be a very specific part of that sign? No strollers, no
Yeah.
wagons.
Right,
Don't drag anything behind
Right.
you, feet only.
yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna be able to maneuver through these.
No.
They're definitely ADA, they're
Yeah.
not ADA compliant, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
the doors are
I
tiny.
just want to
It's-
make sure we can cut them off at the beginning. If they bring a wagon, you can't bring the wagon, sorry.
Well, they can bring it to the park and
Leave it on
it's
the
just like,
sidewalk.
leave it, And then the other thing is no food and drinks inside, so just like, just don't be bringing your coffee from Starbucks and think you can bring it into someone's house.
Right.
My house is like, it wouldn't matter, but there are homes that, we don't want people spilling stuff all over them, right? And then we may need to make a note that the restrooms are available at the pavilion. Because they're not going to be able to use people's personal properties. And that the last entry into the home will be about 3:15. That gives everyone, like I said before, ways to get back. And then there is, this person, Samantha I think it's Costers.
Yes, ma'am.
She is with the Tourism Product Development Manager, and she wants us to send all of the verbiage from the homes to her directly. She will see that it gets on every web page in Clay County. So tourism is gonna work with us
Okay.
to
Wow.
get all of this stuff done. And of course, this will also blend into Friends. But I do have her email,
Yeah.
if you want to write that down.
Okay.
It's Samantha, SAMANTHA KOSTERS @claycountygov.com. And she's the Tourism Product Development Manager.
So I'm wondering since it's a Saturday during the day, and so did you, I thought we had discussed 12 to 4, but it sounds like you're thinking we need to do it earlier.
I think so.
So what time were you thinking?
I'm thinking that we should start around 10. Because to get through 6 homes, even though they're close proximity, Helen, you know from showing houses how long it can take. And so if everyone's oohing and ahhing, talking, and they're with their friends, and they're, and if we have 150 people, we're going to be putting through all of these houses. It could take 5 hours.
Okay, so 10 to 3?
Yes, 10 to 3.
And I'm wondering during the day if also, besides the pavilion restrooms, if the city hall and maybe the library restrooms are going to be equipped.
I can come in on that day if it would be helpful to this council. I can come in and stay in the building to do an extra restroom for y'all.
Well, usually
I
there's
can have the ones unlocked in the
yeah,
back as well.
yeah, the 2 back behind, I think, would be. And
For
then-
this, for this event, I know you guys are running thin, so if you do need an extra hand, somebody to stand in a house, I will make myself available to help with that.
Thank you.
But they're gonna do a reception also for this, right, at the pavilion?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so everyone will come to the pavilion, and it'll say that like on the ticket, that starting point is at the pavilion where you pick up your
Pamphlet.
pamphlet. I mean, they're gonna have on their ticket the tour, but we want them to come over there so that if they have any questions, or if they wanna use the restrooms, they wanna have drinks, we're gonna have waters and everything for them. So we want this to be that friendly event that, it is the Heritage Commission that's doing this. It's just that we're working in conjunction with the Garden Club,
If council would like, I can volunteer to be the person that stands in the pavilion to help hand out pamphlets.
Well, what we do need is that date
Mhm.
locked down for the pavilion
I will
and the
lock that
time.
down today.
December 21st.
Great.
Yep.
It will be on the calendar by today.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Not a problem.
And just one other comment about the accessibility. So I know because the age restriction, 10 and over, right? So no children
Right.
under 10. But also like we may want to put in like a caveat of like, due to the historic nature of the homes, that some homes may not be ADA accessible. Because some of the homes
Yeah,
are.
not compliant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because the doors.
That'll be the very first thing on there, just so it can be a disclaimer. We want everyone all to come, but you need to be aware it's not ADA accessible. Feel free to try.
Yeah.
That's a
Because,
very good point.
Yeah, the wheelchairs will not fit through some of the doors, the historic doors, just in general.
That's
So
what they
we just want to make sure that, no one gets there and is disappointed. I mean, I think the pavilion, if they want to participate at the pavilion, but just so people are aware.
Well, it is gonna say on the ticket that this is a walking tour and transportation is not provided.
Mhm.
So if you can walk all this, you're probably fine, but like you say, it's not.
You get people with scooters, the little hover
Yeah.
round type scooters.
And that's fine, and people can have their golf cart and come up to the house and all that. That's, it's fine. It's just, you're right, we do probably need to state on there somewhere, and I'll let the Garden Club know that.
Just
But
that
when
they-
they're selling the ticket,
The houses aren't ADA compliant.
Yeah, maybe a
So-
little asterisk on the
Right.
ticket,
Yeah.
you know.
Historical homes, they're not.
You probably don't want golf carts going over people's grass.
No.
Well, it wouldn't matter at my house, but on some of these, it's like what grass? Okay.
Okay, so, let's see, are we ready to move on?
Yes,
Done with that?
I know that took a while.
Okay, well, that's fine, that's a big deal, that's a big deal. Let's see, Wednesday, so we're not gonna be doing that. Workshop for educational field trip planning, that's on April 16th, 2024. So for the field trip,
So, the field trip is set, we all know now, for April 19th, and.
oh, wait a
It
minute,
says six-
yeah,
No, the workshop is the 16th.
okay, workshop
So
16th,
our
okay.
meeting- So the field trip itself is.
It's on the 19th.
Yes,
And then we have a meeting that Tuesday prior, which is.
It's on the Team
16th.
Reach calendar,
yeah.
I cannot make it that day.
the 19th of April?
I have a thing in Gainesville.
Wait, the 19th or the 16th?
The 16th.
16th,
okay.
okay.
But you're gonna be available on the 19th?
On the 19th, yes.
So the 16th, what we'll do, like we did last year, is we'll have our meeting here, and then afterward, we'll go down to the pavilion and we'll do like a dry run of the field trip and how it's gonna run. So the biggest thing at this point is we've established contact with the school, and Janice helps us with that as our liaison, that we need to know how many associate members are going to be able to assist with the stations. So that's probably the biggest priority at this point, so that we can designate who is going to be at each station. So Deirdre, I know you're going to do with the printing press over in the nature park again. Karen's going to do the moon tree.
Yes,
Oh, good.
yes, I'm very excited.
Yes, you're going to do Fort 11.
Fort 11.
Okay.
It's gonna be a big deal this year.
Okay, perfect. And then last year we had two ladies volunteer. It was Mary Lou and I forget the other lady.
Was it Kathy?
Kathy
Yes.
Moran, now Kathy contacted me, she still had, we asked her to store all the stuff,
Okay,
you know, for the, what did she do?
Chautauqua.
Yeah, the Chautauqua, she has all the learning
I
products.
think
She's gonna
we
bring
need to
them,
get that
she,
back from.
yeah, she's already contacted me about it.
Okay.
So she's gonna drop it by my house.
Okay.
Great.
Is she able to participate this year?
No,
Okay,
but she's gonna
okay, perfect.
give us all the materials.
So
Great.
we'll need a couple associate members to help with if we're going to do the Chautauqua again, and then also to do the like the first presentation, kind of like of the overall
Right.
that Nina did last year, because if we're also going to ask Nina to do like a mayoral thing, like to do the key of the city, which is
Right.
what the students have requested,
Mhm.
she's not going to be able to do that in this. So we'll need someone to do like the, you know, overview of Keystone Heights and whatnot. So in addition to that, I thought it would be nice this year is like, you know, when all the kids came in and whatnot, they sit on the floor in the pavilion. We did like just a general welcome opening, and I thought it would be nice this year to invite the whole council. I think that for the history of the city, and the amount of, you know, time and effort that's put into, you know, being a council member overall, I think it would be nice to invite the whole council and
And the city manager.
and the city manager and the city clerk.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
I mean, the
I
more
think-
the merrier.
I think they
as
all
far as-
should
yeah,
attend.
As far as I,
Yes.
100%. And have them up there, introduce them, let them tell a little bit about each other. And then also, I mean, we will all be in there for the very beginning. I think we should introduce the Heritage Commission as well.
Mhm.
So, and then, so from that, then the stations roll out, and we can go over that in more detail later, but at this moment in time, I think our greatest need is which associate members are going to be able to assist with the field trip with running the station. I noticed on the elementary school Facebook page that March 4th, I believe, they are actually doing something at the beach pavilion for the library. So I'm wondering if that's not, you know, kind of double time for the library, you know?
So leave the library out.
Yeah, because if March 4th, April 19th, you know what I mean? They're probably going to cover summer reading, I would assume. in March, you know, whenever
Right.
they have that at the library.
Oh,
So, and that actually would probably make it easier for us and for the amount of kids, like, you know, 110, 120 kids getting into the library. If we just
Had the moon tree,
add the moon tree
And
and
then they
add the
cross.
spot in, here in City Hall.
right.
And I think that would, you know, that would actually make it more concise.
And then they have to go to the Welcome Center, so we need to get Todd on board.
That's fine. We took the sign out of the building, so everything else is still there. Just
Where's the sign?
It's back, Kenny took it back. We were just afraid someone was gonna, because everybody walks over and touches it, and it would just
Oh.
be here, like somebody would cut.
You mean the
themselves
end sign?
on it. Yeah, the end sign, the Keystone end sign.
Okay, so Kenny took it back here to City Hall? Or
I
to
don't
the
know,
airport?
Storage, yeah.
Oh, to their storage, okay.
I mean, if you need it back there for this time, we can do that. I mean, the table is still there.
I think
can go back
we
there.
could even, since we're going to have them have a tour of the, of City Hall, maybe we could have it here for temporary, and then they could just bring it back to wherever they're
Yeah,
keeping
maybe
it.
they can set it up in.
Set it up in here.
Yeah, like on the table.
Yeah,
And I think it's a good idea for the city council, to meet them also, but you can get it down there too long and they get all fancy. If Nina's gonna be here, we could have them here in their spots or something like that and incorporate that maybe.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
I don't know, it's not that it would be boring information, but yet it kind of would be on their level, especially if they got to explain their jobs or something like that. It's just a thought, but I just know how they can get, okay, I don't care about that. And
Okay.
they start poking and picking and,
I mean, it's a good suggestion.
Yeah, so just when you're in the planning.
And it would
don't
keep
want
the
that to
council-
take too long.
I agree. It keeps the council from having to move places.
Yeah.
They could just
Yeah.
be here, Nina's gonna be here anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, or
So-
they could be
I
down
do
there
have
at
a
the beginning,
question.
to see what's going on and then come back up here or whatever for their station. Anyway, I was just concerned if that gets too long.
Mhm. Yeah, we are talking about fourth graders.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
It's a good suggestion.
No, it is, and maybe they can sit in their seats.
Yes, right.
And then, you know, as the stations come in and whatnot, and maybe, I don't know, a
They would be
proclamation
here
or
all day
whatever,
then.
you know, they want to do with them, you know. I think they wanted to keep in the city.
And that's perfectly fine. Seeing as you want all of council involved, the city manager, the city clerk, what time frame are you looking at so I can go ahead and get this information to them so they can lock it down?
Okay. So last year, the students walked down, and I believe we ended up starting right around 9. Okay.
Mhm.
So they leave the school around 8:15-ish or so, and by the time they get down. So, the first, we did like an intro or whatnot, and I think we looked to start all the stations about 9:30, I think, by the time it was said and done, and that's when they start rotating. So, and then we went all the way, it was like 2 hours, right? So
Mhm.
like to 11:30-ish, and then they go to, back to the park to eat lunch.
So if I tell council to be here from 9 a.m. until noon, will that be sufficient?
Yes,
Okay.
but, you know, just let them know if we, you know, maybe a little earlier, you know, be willing 15 minutes-ish.
Not a problem.
Okay.
I just want to get that
in.
information to them so they have less of a chance saying, well, I have plans.
Yes, yes, and it's totally volunteer, it's totally optional.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I'm hoping if they have a few months in advance notice, which right now it's almost 2 months advance, hopefully you'll get more of a turnout.
Yeah, that would be great.
Not a problem.
Okay, perfect. So I think we approved last time as far as the spending of the funding for the little souvenir bags to send with them. So I think we're good on the money. I think the biggest thing at this point is, and then Janice, do you think they're okay with packing lunches, the cafeteria,
yes.
and doing bag lunches? And then we provided the water last year with the water bottles out of the pavilion.
Yeah, plenty left.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll provide water again, so lunches, water. So volunteers at this moment in time is the biggest, what we'll need from the associate members to run, it sounds like, it sounds like just 1 or 2 stations maybe, because the Chautauqua one, I
Right,
think, and then the
right.
initial one,
Right.
yeah.
I don't think we have any of the ladies
So the
returning from the
Chautauqua,
Chautauqua. I don't-
who's Mary Lou?
Is Nina's friend, but she's an associate member of the the Heritage Commission.
And she's on Team Reach.
Right.
Now, I don't know if
So
she's gonna
should we
be,
doing it?
we
don't
don't know.
know that?
I haven't spoken to
reach
her in
out
a
to
while.
her.
She hasn't, yeah, she hasn't been able to make any of our things. It was her and Kathy Moran, and then there was another
That would be great.
volunteer
Miss
that
Helen,
worked with them.
yeah, Miss Helen said she can assist somewhere, so it was actually kind of fun with the Chautauqua. You don't have to do Chautauqua, but there were two of them, and they kind of went off each other also, so she could assist. But we are going to need, in general, probably about at least 2 associate members, if not 3. So,
If Mary Lou is going to do it again, I'm gonna be more than happy to sit in with her. Since she's done it, I could just research whatever that they did and we could.
okay, great.
We'll have to,
Thank
we'll have to speak to her about,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if she wants to participate with, the 4th graders again and educating our students, for future, history of Keystone Heights. Also, Tina Bullock had brought her, she has an old reel from the drive-in, and she brought it also.
Yeah.
And it was there at the Chautauqua that the kids were able to look at it, touch it, and that was big excitement. And she said that we could have it again this year, so.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we'll incorporate that as well.
And I think we should do the seal, the Keystone and seal.
Oh, we'll do that over at the pavilion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. That was a hit with the kids.
Was it?
Yeah.
Debbie, I wanted to ask you, and while I've got everybody here, do you have any of the original Keystone? I have not been to the Welcome Center. I've never been there. I've started over there a few times and there was nobody there, so I needed. But do you have, up for your display, are there any of the original Keystone brochures?
I may,
I don't.
gosh, I have an old one that
Mhm.
someone tried to lock off it. So I set it into a drawer and just made some copies.
Okay.
I'll take a look and see what.
Well, there was a variety of at least 4 or 5. Yeah, not the book.
Okay.
Just the regular, like trifold from the Lawrence Development Company. We used to have,
There's a blue one that was,
is it in book form?
it's in a trifold form.
Okay. I'd like to take a look at that one. We used to have the originals in the archives here, and when I went through, I did not find it. I didn't find one, so that means they're all in a file together somewhere, and they're not in there, so they might be, someone might have taken them out to make copies or whatever. Fortunately, I had some digital copies, but they're not good. They're not, I need the original so I can do up-to-date digital copies.
Unfortunately, that's what I had to do when I created the new trifold. I pulled what I found online, and
Yeah.
I had to snip and put that together piece by piece.
Well, these original brochures are really important. They're from, like I said, the Lawrence Development Company did several, and I know we had them all in the original archives, and they're, so they're misplaced somewhere. I'm just trying to track them down.
The only one, the only one I could think of was that one blue one.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe someone had actually brought it in because they'd come in, it's like, oh, this really belongs here. It's like some, people
Oh.
will bring things in, like there's a yardstick that said Keystone Heights.
Lumber Company, yeah. We want that. That's really cool. I mean, we need that stuff for the museum.
Yeah, any of that stuff is just kind of sitting in there, so.
Okay. Well, just to kind of bring it all full circle, so a few more volunteers, and maybe we can put it out on Team Reach and see who's interested. And then I'll send out a detailed email about each station and whatnot, but be prepared in your station to have about 20-ish minutes worth of information. So Karen, for prepping for the moon tree and whatnot, and if
I've been doing that research.
yeah, okay, just in general, so you know. And we'll have, the rotation. We talked lessons learned last year about rotating and what makes more sense.
We'll still use the cannon
Okay.
for the signal.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And then what we'll do is, we'll have everyone together and do our dry run on the April meeting. And I think we'll be good to go. I mean, the great thing about the field trip is that they have zero expectation or knowledge. So everything is going to be amazing. So, I mean, we may, like, oh, this or oh, that, but they will be thrilled. So that should relieve a lot of burden as far as
And
anyone.
will we order the same things that we did last year?
We
Um,
can.
you know,
yeah. And
the-
then if we want to add the little pies, or if we want to do something different, but we voted on the money to spend, so maybe if, you know.
So
on
the
team-
arrowheads, and then the city had the actual pencils.
I can get it to you, the
list.
The list,
Okay.
and then we can, on Team Reach, brainstorm, you know, if we want to add anything
Right.
else to it.
And then we'll
so-
need the bags.
Yeah, no, they were
so-
just brown paper
Yeah.
bags that, you know,
Right,
so.
okay,
Yeah, I think that's it.
all right.
Do you know
Okay.
about how many students there are this year?
It's probably about the same, I would guess, in 20. I don't remember the numbers, but they have the same number of classrooms.
Okay, so the update on the historical information tools. Stephanie got our brochures all up to date. Thank you so much. We've been handing out the wrong information for years. That was important. But our large one is still, does anybody remember when we got that, or where we got it, or what the process is to have it redone?
Was that what, did Nina put that one together?
No, that's
No,
been
no, no,
around
that-
forever.
Yeah, it has. I'll have to ask Steve might.
Steve Hart might
Steve would
know.
know. I'll have to get with Steve about that.
Are you talking about the board thing?
The big
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
The big one.
Because it reflects the same that was on the trifold brochures, the small one, so we've got to delete 2 of the buildings off of that and then add a couple
Update it.
more, so, yeah, it really needs
We can do
up
better
there.
with the trifold, I promise. If we get the original pictures found and I can actually manipulate those
Right.
things, I can do much better. It's just, however, with what I could find on the internet, I did the best
Yeah,
I could with what we had.
well, let's see. So I'll talk to Steve about that, see where he got it. Let's see, the membership cards and application, we wanted to redo our membership application to, and the membership cards was an idea that I had picked up from one of the historical roundtables. They gave out membership cards to all the associate members, but it had that QR code that you were talking about, and it was Green Cove Springs that had it. So getting everything tied in, that would tie it into the walking tour with the tourism board,
Right.
and the web page and the whole 9 yards. So that's, I'll just lump that in
It
with
will
that
even
one.
link eventually, once we have our city plaque, it will link to that and
Right.
tell people where the plaque is,
Mhm.
and the Keystone Inn plaque, and all of those things. Everything will be linked together. So
We're getting
we're
getting a
moving-
technological update.
We are getting
We're trying, we're
updated.
trying.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so Facebook page, I had gotten control of the Facebook page, which is an unofficial page. It's not the city page from Steve Hart. We decided to keep the same page because there was so much information from the past on that instead of starting a new one. So I've been kind of going back and forth on exactly how to, the page in the past has had all the plaques on it, you know, and we've been kind of slowing down on the plaquing and emphasizing more of our original mission, which is preservation and education. So what I'm going to do is start with Fort 11 and just take, because I have a great deal in my personal collection, take everything that I've got and move ahead chronologically and just do an information dump. You know, and the best that I can do it, you know, for instance, I've got a lot of interviews from people in the past, so it will, and I'm trying to keep it entertaining. They say, you know, 5 minutes or whatever, but if you're a historian, you're used to dry reading. But, and I will intersperse the photos along with the interviews so that people can make the connection. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing with the Facebook page. We've got, I think, 250 followers, so if you haven't followed it, go ahead and so share anything interesting.
And we'll need that same information for the plaquing anyway.
Yes.
So,
Well,
Yeah.
I figured we'll just start at the beginning.
Right.
You know, start with Fort 11 and then just
so
move.
when we get to meet about that,
Mhm.
yeah, you know, we'll just figure out the date for that.
But
I'll
Okay.
watch the rest of it.
I'll get, when would be a good time to stop and take a look at your brochure?
I should be there if you want to come by.
I will, I'll come, okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Debbie.
All right.
What page was that again?
It's the Heritage Commission Facebook page.
All right.
The Keystone Heights Heritage Commission.
Keystone.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not, it's not this one here.
It's the Keystone Heights Heritage Commission.
Okay.
Let's see. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put a link to it on Team Reach
Okay.
for everybody. Let's see. And so that's membership cards, the walking tour, that all is in with the same thing. The tourism board, thank goodness we could piggyback on their stuff and they can bring us all up into the
I mean,
21st
once we
century.
write this information and send it over to them,
Right,
then we can basically say, make it happen.
right.
Because they can do it, but they can't do it without us because they need us to write everything.
Mhm.
And then once we write it and send it to them, then they can get it uploaded in the format that we don't want to be doing. You know, so they have it all ready to go.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
Before we move on to new business, I just wanted to address real quick the CCSO for the field trip. I failed to mention that. The time frame we're talking about for the field trip, I don't think we have the funding, just from my experience with the 5K, I don't think we have the funding to pay. I mean, I guess we might have the funding to pay, but it would probably be like $100 an hour for an officer to come by the time we pay the admin fees and then what we're talking about. So we're talking 3 hours minimum, possibly more, just depending. So that would just be up to the discretion of the commission whether we wanted to spend those funding or whether we felt last year was sufficient. I think we had about 5 parent chaperones per class.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I can't remember if the school resource officer came or not, but I would think that he could come down.
Oh.
We'll find out.
Yeah, sorry Janice, I didn't
If
mention that.
everyone had the
I
vests,
think we reached out to him and he said they could not.
They're kind of weird about
They
it.
could not
can't-
leave
can't do
school
that since
grounds
it's off campus.
Because it was during school hours
Right.
and they would not leave the school, you know,
Yes.
with no one there. But we had about 5 parents per classroom, and then I know Karen was a crossing guard. This is where we needed the few additional associate members to act kind of, because between the teachers and the parents, you know, going with each class.
Yes.
And then at the end, the community liaison officer did
and maybe we can
arrive.
reach out to DOT and get vests.
I have-
Those bright orange vests.
the city
um,
workers
I
have
have
Or the
those
city,
vests.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
city
has
has
vests,
vests.
yeah.
We can get those and that really makes a
Like
difference.
a little orange flag as you're crossing the road too with your vet.
That would be,
They do that in
Great.
St. Augustine. I don't know if they have the flags and the stop signs, so you pick up the orange flag as you cross the road, so people can't say, I mean, they still can say they don't, but, you know, it's much more likely they're gonna see you in a group of children crossing if you have
Right.
students.
So it's just,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's the consensus? Do we think we need to hire anyone?
I
first?
don't think we need to spend the money on,
I think we can
I
probably
think we
find a
can do it.
volunteer too.
Yeah, I think it worked out last year, and I don't think anyone felt unsafe. And then at the end, the resource officer came, and I think he will probably come earlier this year, because I think it was one of our
We
kind of
also have a
lessons.
crossing guard up there that works at the heights. She might come down.
Okay.
and Do that too. I can talk to her. and
Okay.
ask her.
That would be
Contact
great.
her To see if that day,
Oh,
if she can
yeah.
come when we come and go.
Yeah.
Okay,
That would be
That'd be
official
really
from the
nice.
sheriff's office,
Mhm.
so.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we ready for new business?
Yep.
We've only got the one thing, it's just a discussion, pie in the sky introduction of the amphitheater.
I'm excited.
For those that don't know, this was a Chautauqua city, and we had an entire Chautauqua complex over there on Chautauqua Way, and there's Chautauqua Circle, which is right there by the Women's Club, that was actually an amphitheater that worked in conjunction with the Chautauqua Annex, which is where the Women's Club is right now. There was a building there before that burned down. And I've taken a look at it. They can't build on it. I've looked at who owns it. And just pie in the sky, sometime in the future, maybe we can put that on our radar to suggest it for a new city park. It would be a great venue. And there's a photo that I'm looking for. I've seen it before, and I have not run across it recently. But they just had simple benches in there with boards and stumps, and it was just an amphitheater. And you know, the women's club rents itself out for functions, and so it would be a great place to kind of work the two, maybe in conjunction with the women's club, maybe rope in the garden club with it, you know, to have just a little venue here in Keystone. But there's nothing, that whole thing is overgrown. It's completely overgrown. It's kind of I know that I've heard, I'm not going to say who, but teenagers in my family that I've heard of them going down in there and getting drunk and stuff like that. They were having problems with that. And so maybe sometime just, you know, to put it on our radar, to maybe bringing back the Chautauqua Amphitheater sometime in the future, because the property is not worth much at all. And I'm sure CRA could, in the future sometime, maybe allocate some small
The
funds.
Women's Club would take that on as a project too, to clean it up or to do something.
Right, it's right there, and they have the restrooms and the facilities there. If you wanted to have a wedding, my son had a wedding at the women's club, and you know, you could actually have the service there and then the reception.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be excellent expansion in the area.
Or for plays, it would be nice to have a place to do some local plays.
When I
May
was
I
in,
suggest, so this would be a continuation or a revamping of the Chautauqua Club, right? It would be used for special events for that. I mean, there could be all kinds of federally funded, I mean, it would
Right.
be,
Well,
it has to continue.
Keystone Heights was a Chautauqua city.
Yes.
So I'm suggesting we use that historical status
Yes.
for maybe special funding for this park, because it was the amphitheater. I have the
Yes.
historical evidence that it was used as such.
And would we also be like rededicating it to
Right.
that so that we could have these things happening again?
Well, there's nothing over there on that side of the city either. We don't have any parks or anything. And so it would just be, I don't know, as part of our educational program, it was very special for us to be a Chautauqua city for a while.
Very.
And so we really need to unbury that
It's
stuff.
a
you
huge
know?
opportunity. to-
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a
Rebirth.
great idea, and I mean, to designate it as, you know, a historic park, and even, you know, with the centennial, like our park here, you
Mhm.
know, to be designated as a historic park as well, because of the location of the inn and the tennis courts and the beach, and
Well, all of this was
is where it was founded.
We've got this was part of the original grounds to the resort, this whole area. You had the hotel across the street. They advertised year-round tennis. That was all tennis courts over there. I put the photos on Team Reach if you hadn't seen them.
Yes,
Um,
but it's amazing the difference. It would be nice to have it back, wouldn't it?
Yep, well, that's, you know, a lot of these plantings here are, some of the camellias and things are from the old hotel grounds. Now, we've already established the pavilion as a historic structure. Well, and it's only because it was part of the resort. So we need to be able to expand that historical designation to the original grounds.
Well, I think it's obvious when you look at the existing map of how the city was founded, and then when you look at it now with the zoning intact and whatnot, that it's all recreational. So it's recreational from the nature park, the beach, this park, the whole thing. And that's part of the original design, and it's all recreational.
It's
Well,
part of
the-
the charm of
so-
Keystone Heights.
Exactly.
The
and
golf
so it
club was
should-
actually included in that, but it's in Bradford County, so
But it's just great, it's just, you know, it denotes and shows that it's historic and part of the city's founding, and so.
like to get back to the roots. Well, that's our job.
Yeah.
We're the Heritage Commission. That's our job.
Education and preservation.
Right, well, especially right now, the city's going through a lot of development, and so we need to really try to have a renaissance about how we got here, how the city was founded, so that's not lost as we all move forward. So we just need to be a little, get all the evidence out there, the information out there, and be a little louder.
Yeah, educate, 100%.
Okay, so that's the discussion on the amphitheater. I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna keep it on the agenda occasionally because that's one of the
Great idea.
things in the future, just like the next thing, which is the museum proposal. We would love to have a museum. So that's your,
I think that we can discuss that maybe in a few months.
okay,
I think that right now, we have a lot of other things on our plate. My original idea was so that we would have something up and completed for the centennial. Since that is not going to happen, it's not that we don't want to not have a museum. It's just that it's not going to in any way meet the timeline that I had originally had in mind. So with that said, and really not having an allocated space for it, and the council really not wanting to go in the direction of having anything that was temporary, if you will. They wanted it to be in a permanent situation, that we should just table it for the next couple months.
okay. All right, yesterday's festival report, Karen was our
Yes,
lone
I was
trooper on
there.
that one.
I was there, and it was a beautiful day, and there were a lot of people, and they stopped by, and they were taking pamphlets that Stephanie
Yeah.
made up for us, and I'm so
Thank goodness
grateful
they
that
were
we
all
had
the correct
the new
ones.
ones out there. And they were all very interested, and especially the tour of homes, so I don't know, there might be even more than 150 people coming to do this in the 3 or 4 hours.
They need to get
But- But they're very excited about it. I have a list of the people who also actually have artifacts and photographs and
Oh,
such
yay.
that,
Great.
I thought I would hand
Yay.
it over to you.
That's
Because
fabulous.
it's a lot of information there.
Well, that's why we do that. That right there's the gold.
Yes, yes, and a lot of people, they haven't lived here that long or not directly in Keystone Heights, but they're very familiar with where we are, what's going on. I mentioned the 100-year celebration, and so everybody's all excited about it. On that brochure, the trifold, I was thinking now with the new, the website and
The Facebook
the
page?
Facebook page, maybe should be posted on there because they were looking at that for where they could find more information.
We'll have to see how we can do that because it's not attached to the city. It's unofficial. And so and the brochures are official city. So we
Oh.
kind of have a line with the Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for
Alright,
doing
alright.
that.
But
That was
hopefully we'll
fun.
develop
Yeah.
a page for the city, that we can put with the city webpage, and then that could be put on there.
Okay.
Because it's all the same information.
We will find a workaround.
Mhm.
We'll find a workaround.
And it's just wonderfully, how it all ties together,
Mm-hmm.
the whole area, so it's just great.
Yeah, that's the importance of
Learned a
going
lot.
to that, and we should have it on our calendar in the future to always be attending that.
We used
It
to.
was a
We
lot.
used
Yeah.
to, but we haven't in years, and so it's great
Well,
that
that's
Karen
part of
was
our
able to
outreach.
get out.
That's the
Yeah.
big thing is
Yeah, that's
outreach.
great. They had a submarine, it was just, all the things that were there were so interesting, all the history.
Okay, so any announcements or public comments? Anyone have anything to add? No? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do.
Okay.
On the workshop coming up, they will also be discussing the city webpage. So if anybody
Okay.
has any input or any advice, please come.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay.
What was that? The
On
city?
The city
workshop- The
webpage.
workshop will
Web-
be discussing the city
webpage.
webpage,
Okay.
which
Okay.
does follow under my line of work, so I'm social
Are you-
media and the webpage.
All right, are you developing the new webpage?
I'm going to be trying, I guess.
Yay.
Oh.
So I would appreciate any, if you guys.
Or
have-
hiring the company that
Yeah.
already does it.
Exactly.
Jason,
You know,
call
that's what I'm
Jason.
leading. I'm very good at start heavily relying on Clay County tourism. I had no idea
Yes.
they were such a resource for
Yes.
us, and we will be using that resource further.
We
I
need to
think
do
you
some
could
workshops,
on
so
it.
we've got someone
It was
here.
eye-opening.
I have a question. question. If we ever wanted to do a mailing to the residents of the city, is there some sort of directory, or do you have the mailing addresses for the residents of the city?
I am absolutely not sure, but I will figure out how to get that, and I'll have an email to you by the end of day
Okay.
on as how do we obtain the mailing information for the city, just in city limits.
Yep.
Okay.
You probably have some kind of voter.
Registration type thing, not a problem.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else,
Anything else? No?
meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Next meeting is March 19th.